Well, my name is Dylan Smith, and I run a video production company that specializes in documentary and corporate work. This is why I think you should probably take a step back from watching movies, just constantly consuming media. And as my job is creating videos, it's very hard to not just want to constantly consume movies, constantly consume TV shows, constantly consume content in general, because you think that like, oh, if I watch this movie, oh, if I watch this TV show, it's gonna make me a better filmmaker, it's gonna make me a better photographer. At the end of the day, even though that as a photographer, as a videographer, you are trying to capture art, you're trying to capture emotion, and even though you're not creating movies, even though you're not creating TV shows, you're trying to emulate the feel that those movies, those TV shows give you. And I, for the last couple of years, have felt this sort of urge, like almost like I'm missing out, almost like this idea that like, oh my god, there's so many movies I haven't seen. People reference movies all the time that I've never heard of, or maybe I have heard of them and I just never have seen them and I don't get the references. And this idea that I have to constantly watch movies from both now and old to understand references, to stay up to date with conversations, just this idea that like, oh my god, if someone mentions a movie and I haven't heard of it or I don't know what they're talking about, I'm gonna miss out on some conversation. And this idea of just constantly wanting more and more and just constantly feeling the need to watch movies. This is how I felt. If you look at my letterbox, you can see how many movies I watched. I actually took a month off of watching movies, which then puts that number even bigger in perspective. Like, what are you doing? Why are you watching so many movies? And then you look at how many movies I watched this year and you're like, what changed? Now, why did I take a whole month off? Well, essentially it was a bet with some of my friends because they saw how many movies I was watching. They were like, you couldn't take a month off of movies. So I did. I took a month off of movies, and what did it do for me? I just consumed TV shows, I just consumed YouTube videos. Some of it was more educational, others like documentaries or behind the scenes stuff that I probably wouldn't have watched, or probably would have watched in addition to movies, wouldn't have watched as much of that. So it's a little more different and a little more educational, a little more variety, I would say, than if I was just watching movies, because it was like every single night I was like movie. My brain was wired like, oh my god, I need to watch a movie. I took a month off of movies, and the first movie I saw coming back was Wonka, the new Timothy Chalamet movie, which I felt like was really, really good for what it was. And it's just a remake, it's a prequel. No more prequels, no more remakes. Felt like it was something no one asked for particularly, but it was something that I really enjoyed. And because I took a month off of movies, I was able to go into this movie in theaters with sort of a unique perspective. Like, oh, I'm not constantly comparing it to all these other movies. I even went into it without seeing any trailers. I didn't watch any movie trailers throughout that month, and I still don't. Still try it, and I still try not to watch movie trailers because I feel like it's honestly better to watch a movie trailer after you've seen the movie. Because for me, as a filmmaker, as someone who is making videos, making documentaries, making long-form content, creating a strategy for businesses, I feel like it's better to study the marketing even of movies. So it's like I watch a whole movie and then I watch the trailers. So then I can see like, oh my god, okay, this is how they put this trailer together, this is the moments they chose, versus me watching a trailer before and I'm purely looking at like, oh, what's happening in the movie, oh, let me get excited for it. Me watching Wonka after a month of not watching movies allowed me to enjoy the movie a lot more. It allowed me to not compare it to a lot of movies, because it's just like constantly like, oh, the movie I saw last night was better than the movie I saw tonight. It's like, oh, I almost got to the point where I was comparing movies that shouldn't even be compared to, like movies that were just completely different genres. I'd be able to see the connections between them because they were so fresh in my mind, which might be a good thing. But my opinion is, hey, when I need some kind of boost in motivation, when I need some kind of boost in energy, or a movie's just coming out in theaters, then I'm gonna go see it. And it's like, I'm only watching movies when I feel like it. And taking away this sort of pressure that I have in my mind, like, oh my god, I need to see this movie from the 70s, or I just heard it in someone's conversation and I didn't get it, so now I need to go see it. So then if it ever comes up again, then I'll understand that. And at this point, I've watched so many movies in the last couple of years that I feel like I'm at this point to where, like, if someone mentions a movie in a conversation, it's usually a movie I've seen. And it's not like I'm gonna stop watching movies. It's just moderation, and variety. It's the idea that, like, okay, I'm I'm not only going to consume movies, I'm going to also consume TV shows and video games and commercials and music videos and whatever it is that I'm interested in. I feel like if you're exposed to a variety of different types of content, then you're going to be sort of more well-rounded as a person, as someone who consumes media. It'll reflect in my art better because, I mean, it's like I can take what I learned in a movie and apply it to my work. I can take what I learned from a TV show and I can apply it to my work. I can take what I learned from a music video and apply it to my work, like just how they compose shots, how a story is told, whatever it is. I know this video is a little bit different than what I usually do. Like a lot of it's focused more on video production and how I do what I do and what I've learned from it. This is sort of a step in a different direction, but to me it's all the same. It's all stuff that's sort of related to my life and related to what I'm learning and what I'm going through as a creative, as someone who's a business owner. And I hope to do more videos like this and also do more similar videos like I've done before. If you like this one, like it, comment, tell me what you liked about it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.